Today, we're going to be installing what is quite possibly the most discreet dash cam available on the market. This Mangoal 4K dash cam is actually built into a piece that is designed to replace the cover for the rear view camera. So it's going to be very discreet. There's not going to be any kind of extra device mounted to the windshield or anything like that, which I'm really excited about. So let's get in, see what it looks like to install this and what we're going to do about running the power for it. There are two options for powering the Mangoal dash cam. The first is running a wire to your OBD2 port. I'm hoping I don't have to use that method because I do have the Range Technology AFM DFM disabler installed on the truck, and in order to have both that and the dash cam running at the same time, I would have to get an OBD2 splitter, which I don't currently have. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm hoping for the other option. And the reason I say I'm hoping is because the other option is actually built for trucks that have the auto dimming rear view mirror. My truck does not have that, but there's a chance, depending on the model of truck that you have, that the cord for the auto dimming rearview mirror is just tucked up in the headliner, not being used if your rearview mirror doesn't have that functionality. So I'm going to take down the overhead unit right up here, and we're going to check to see if that cord is up there not being used. Then we can use it to power the new dash cam and have all the wires tucked up and hidden and not have to worry about running anything to the OBD2 port. So let's take that overhead unit down and then see what we've got available. So the first thing that I'm going to do is pry off these plastic covers. There are 4 Torx screws. There are 2 silver ones towards the back and 2 black ones a little deeper towards the front. They're 2 different sizes. So we'll check and see what size we need to get those out. So I don't have a Torx screwdriver that will reach far enough up in here to get to these in the front, but I believe this Allen wrench will be just the right size to get those out. Yep. So I'm using a 5/64 Allen wrench to get the Torx screws out of these front holes up here. Now that we have that out, we're just going to pop it out. There are clips just holding it in. So these are the clips that hold it in. And other than that, it's just those screws that go in to hold it in place. And I got some good news for my truck. I have that unused plug right up there in the front. That should be the one that we need to plug in the power for the dash cam without having to run to the OBD2 port. So I was able to get the harness unglued from up here. I will say be careful. The actual clipping mechanism broke off in the glue when I was pulling it up. It will still plug in to the harness. It just won't clip in, and there won't be any kind of push to release mechanism. It'll just be slide in, slide out, but that shouldn't be a problem. It should still work just fine. So this is the harness from the dash cam kit. This is what that plug in the truck will plug into. This will be the new, basically unused plug, so it'll just kind of stay tied up there. And then this is what will go to the dash cam. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And then I'm going to feed the little one through this hole up here. That will go down to where the rear view mirror mounting point is. So the next step is going to be taking off the cover back here for the rear view mirror. Just going to use the pry tool to pry around the back of it. And when you get it loose, this piece right here, you'll have to pop that out so you can slide the cover forward and off the mirror. All right, so after some finagling, I finally figured out how this little piece is held in. There are two little snap-in clips right here on the side, so they release down, and then this just slides out. You gotta pop this back out because getting that down, pop this back in. There we go. And this is our dash cam. So you see the camera here on the front. You have the micro SD card slot on the side. Power and camera control buttons up here. This will be set to automatically turn on and off with the truck. So we'll just be getting this installed. And it should be looking really clean once we get everything done. The first thing I'm going to do is plug this harness in. Don't really want that dangling by this thin wire, but I might have to for a second. That goes on that way. And then now that's plugged in, this actually comes in two pieces, so you can get it around the mirror. Front plate and a back plate. How does that actually mount? That first piece snaps on right there. And I'm going to pull the overhead unit down again. That way I can work on pulling this other wire up and through while pulling this up to mount. And then everything should snap up. So now we'll just clean up these wires up here and put everything back together, and then we'll move to initializing the camera. It's been a few days since we installed the camera on the truck. I wanted to go through the setup process and kind of play with it a little bit before I went over these steps with you on camera. So now we're going to get in the truck again, and we're going to talk about that process and kind of show how the camera works and how you view the videos. To show this, I am going to be using an iPad. I do have the camera connected to an app on my phone, but since I use my phone for recording, I'm going to use the iPad to kind of show the process and what it looks like using the app. So in order for the camera to be recording, your truck does have to be cranked. It's using your truck's power to power the camera, but every time your truck's cranked, it should come up and start recording. When you crank the truck, you'll get a little chime from the camera letting you know that it's turned on, and then you'll get an audio notification telling you that recording has started. In order to view the videos that are recorded, you do have to use an app on your mobile device. Like I said, I'm going to use my iPad to show the app, but I also have it connected to my phone. I will note that if your phone connects to Apple CarPlay on your vehicle, you will have to disconnect from Apple CarPlay in order to view the videos that are on the camera. It won't stop it from recording if you're using CarPlay, but in order to actually get into the app and view the videos that are being recorded and review them, you do have to disconnect from Apple CarPlay because the camera uses Wi-Fi to connect. So in order to do that, you're just going to your settings on your vehicle and then find your phone, and then you would disconnect from here. So beyond that, once you have your device ready to connect to the camera, you can open the app. I'm using an app called Vidure, V-I-I-D-U-R-E. This is not the app that is stated in the documentation for the camera. The documentation recommends using Skycam, but I was not able to get that app working. So after doing some research online and sending a message to customer support, Vidure is the app that I went with, and this one does work for connecting to the camera. So I don't know if they updated their app selection recently with new versions, and Vidure is the one that they're using now, but hopefully they'll get their documentation updated if that is the case. So I'm going to add a camera. I'm just going to do allow while using app for the location, allow to find items on the network. Okay, so we're powered on. Now we're going to go to the Wi-Fi and wait for it to pull up the camera's Wi-Fi network. You see here Wi-Fi DVR and then a number. That is the network. It's always going to start with Wi-Fi DVR, and then the number is going to be your specific camera that you're connecting to. So we're going to pull that up. So we got the check mark that's connected. So now we'll go back to the app, and you'll see it is connected to the camera, and it's showing a live feed of what the camera is seeing right now. So in order to view the previous recordings, you just go here to camera files, and now it's loaded the camera files from all of the previous recordings that it's done while the vehicle's been running. So if you need to look up a specific item, you just find kind of the general time area, and then you can pull it up and you can watch the footage from that selection from when the camera is running. So it's pretty simple overall. You may have just heard the audio notification that it said start recording. That's because it had stopped when I was viewing the files, and when I went out of the viewing, it went back to recording live video. Really the most annoying or tedious part is just making sure that your device is connected to the Wi-Fi signal for the camera, since a mobile device can only be connected to one Wi-Fi location at a time. It would be nice if they used a Bluetooth connection so you could keep it connected to different things, but I don't know if there's a reason for that or what's going on. But so far, I really do like this camera. I like how just sleek and discreet it is, being part of that cover piece for the rear view mirror. It's very nice up there. It does not take up any extra space on the windshield. It does not have anything else on the windshield that might impede my visibility while driving. And the camera quality is really good. The video footage is nice and clear. It says it records at 4K. I don't have any way to verify if those are 4K files that I'm watching, but it does claim to be a 4K recording camera. So that's really nice. There are two buttons on the camera. There's a power button that you can use to turn the camera on and off while the truck is running and the camera has power. And then there's also a specific camera button that can be used for just taking still photos. You press the button, it'll just take a still photo of whatever's in front of the camera. And there's also the micro SD card if you want to take it out and put the SD card in your computer to transfer files to your device instead of leaving them on the camera at all times. And of course you can delete files and everything like that as well. Overall, I'm really happy with this camera purchase. I was looking for a while trying to figure out what type of dash cam I wanted to use, and I just didn't really want something stuck to the windshield randomly or sitting on top of the dash impeding my view out of the windshield. I'm glad I found this design. I think it's actually working really well so far. Haven't had any issues with that at all. It starts recording as soon as I get the truck cranked up and everything's running, and then it stops recording when the truck turns off. So it's always going to be recording if I want it to. The only setting I did change is there's a record sound setting. So it does have a microphone in it to record audio that's going on in the vehicle. I turned that off for right now. Just didn't really feel like the audio is that necessary all that much for the dash cam. So that's been turned off. I may turn it on in the future. I don't know. If you're interested in purchasing one of these cameras for your vehicle, I will leave the Amazon link down in the description below for the Silverado version, but they do have a camera for many different types of vehicles. I'm even hoping that they'll make one for my wife's Trailblazer so that I can get one for hers as well. But I will mention again, the Vidure, V-I-I-D-U-R-E app is the one that worked for me for connecting to the camera, not the Skycam app that they mention in their specific documentation. But I want to thank y'all for watching. If this video was helpful, if you've been looking for a dash cam and you haven't been able to decide what kind you want, leave a comment down below or like the video. I'd really appreciate it. If you're interested in any other interior upgrades that might be useful or that just visually appealing for your Silverado, check out this playlist right here. For now, this is Southpaw Garage signing out.